I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. With us, a renowned geopolitical and financial analyst. People have been asking for him to come back on. We're talking about Charles Nenner from the Charles Nenner Research Center. Charles Nenner, thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Welcome. Nice to be back.
Good to have you back. Listen, I want to get right into your war cycles. I think in the pre-interview, I talked to your handler about this. And some of the headlines, you talked about you were really worried about the war cycle. I want to start with that. Some of the headlines coming across just this last week was that China must be ready to counter U.S. and South China Sea, and they called what the U.S. was doing was ceaseless provocation. Over in the Middle East, Russia is going to town on the Islamic State, and they say that the U.S. is weak on Syria, and they don't have an agenda. Tell me about how this all fits into your war cycles that you have been worried about, and you've been talking about it here on USA Watchdog.
Yeah, we talked about it already for a couple of years, that it would start very slowly in 2014. You have to understand, if cycles are down in a stock market, all stocks mostly go down. And we can make up a story why every stock goes down. IBM has a reason, General Motors has a reason. When cycles in war and peace show that we're going to have wars, then everywhere in the world is going to be trouble. So we can make analysis why in every separate country there's trouble, but just based on the cycle. Now, what you told me is interesting because I've been saying that the major war is going to be between China and Japan about the islands over there. And really the news today already goes a little bit in that direction. So for now we don't have major wars, but I think it's going to be not stable in the world, and it's going to end up in a big war. We said it's going to start in 2014. It's going to grow slowly until 2021.
So when do you think the big fireworks, the metal-on-metal contact, happen? I mean, with whether it be in the Middle East or in the South China Sea. Let's start with the South China Sea. When do you think this gets going? I mean, the U.S. is going to continue to put ships over in the area in those islands they're building, and they say that it's an open sea lane, and they want to keep it open. What do you think about the timing of the increased war? Is it going to increase this year, next year?
Well, it's going to increase slowly, but I don't know. We talked about it because on different programs I talked about why did I think it would be China and Japan? Because the aerospace index in China went through the roof a year ago, and in Japan, so something was cooking over there. Otherwise, why would the aerospace industry be so strong? So definitely China was preparing something. The big cycle already shows that we're in a war period. I don't have too many small cycles because that's very hard based on history to do that. So I don't know, but it should slowly get worse during the next 2 years.
So the next 2 years, you think it will slowly get worse until it gets in? Do you think we'll have a world war at some point?
Well, I'm sitting in Amsterdam. You should know what's going on over here with, get millions of Syrians coming to Europe. And they're already upset that they see certain values in Europe. Those are not their values. So the funny thing is they escape Syria because they want to have human freedom, but then they attack the Dutch people because they have certain values which they don't like. So also in Europe, it's going to blow up very soon.
So you think this refugee crisis is going to cause major problems in Europe? It's already causing problems. So you think it's going to turn into some civil war or some type of war in Europe?
Definitely, yeah. Already now it's problematic. The people don't accept it anymore. So they start attacking these centers where they give asylum to all the Syrians and the whatever. I don't know from which countries they come. So it's going to be a very bad situation. But like I said, every market goes down when cycles are down, and every country goes into war when cycles are showing they want to have a war.
I got that. All right. So and what about the Middle East in particular with Russia and ISIS? Can Russia just defeat ISIS and it be and that's the end of the story? Or if Russia defeats ISIS, then what happens with Israel and Iran that says they want to wipe them out, and they've written books. The Ayatollah has written a book about how to wipe out Israel. What happens then? I mean, does that just keep getting into a deeper and deeper and more war over there?
Well, first of all, maybe you don't know, I'm very involved with Russia, with the people over there. And it's very simple. Why is Russia supporting Iran and Assad? Because Putin says, I don't know who comes after Assad. Could be another idiot, but he owes us $100 billion. We want to have the money back. So it's not so geopolitical. It is because they want to have the money back. So They want to keep Assad over there. Now, I think Israel is happy if Assad is there because it's a bit stable. So I don't think the Russians are attacking ISIS for the moment. They just try to keep Sadat over there. Now, Iran is an interesting problem. You heard probably Netanyahu in the United Nations saying, you know, it's 5 minutes to 12, the bomb is going to explode. I said then he should say differently, because what's happening is, maybe remember the last war in Israel, there were 20,000, 30,000 rockets and almost nothing happened because they got this anti-rocket shield. Now, in a year and a half, 2 years, they have this shield also for long-range rockets, so they can shoot already a rocket down over Iran. So I think Europe should be very worried, because the Iranians can just blackmail the whole world, and Israel is going to have all its defense ready. So I always thought Netanyahu said, listen, we're going to be ready soon. You're going to be the problem. I don't think the Western world understands that they have the problem, because they're not doing anything to defend themselves.
So you think the next skirmish or the next war with Iran could spread globally?
Definitely. I think they're going to pressure. They're going to pressure the world. You know, it's a big problem. Let's say something. Let's hope not. Something is going to blow up in New York, Washington, whatever. I even heard in Miami. I live in Miami. You can have a boat in the harbor in Miami that shoots off a rocket straight up in the air. It doesn't hit anybody. Nobody dies. So it blocks all the satellites and whatever there is. So no water supply, no phone supply, no nothing. Until the United States figures out who did what, because of course Iran and other countries are not going to do themselves. They're going to send proxies. They're going to send groups of terrorists to do it. So you know how the Americans are. We first have to figure out who did it, and have no doubt, and then have to go to Congress, and you know it takes a long time to defend yourself.
You think it'll be an EMP? You think that the most probable attack on the United States will be an EMP attack? You know, an magnetic pulse attack.
Yeah, it would be very interesting if you can stop Wall Street from functioning. Then you know the world's going to be disarray. You don't have to do so much.
All right. Well, let's get back. Let's get into the economy. I want to start off with some of the big people making warnings. Most recently, Donald Trump says that the bubble is about to pop. Carl Icahn also making dire warnings about the stock markets and the economy. Even Ben Bernanke is out with his book saying, "Oh, more bankers should have been jailed." What's going on with the economy? Are you seeing it in intensity of more pressure coming down, which you correctly called? I think back in the summer when you were on, you said, "I think the market's topping. It's going to be down from here. It's going to be going down." What do you think about the news about the markets? Give us your overview about what's going on with the financial markets.
Well, financial markets or the economy, it's not always the same thing.
Let's start with the financial markets.
Well, financial markets, let's say stock markets, they are happy if interest rates are low and you have slow growth. They don't mind if it's 1.5%, 2% GDP. The problem is that most people don't believe in cycles. You know, once we talked about Schumpeter, and there's a kitchen cycle and a Hugler cycle, and if you look at the business cycle, then the whole thing is turning down, very regular. Sorry, the problem is we're not turning down from a GDP from 6%, we're turning down from a GDP from 1%. So soon we're going to be very negative, and we're going to be in for a major, I repeat it, deflationary crisis, right? It doesn't mean the stock market will collapse now. I just repeat, it's going to be the end of 2017. Please let everybody write it down, because you're going to forget it already. It's 1.5 years away. So I think soon we're going to go up again on the market, but it's going to be a catastrophe starting in 2017. But, we still remember the Dow is going to 5,000.
Oh, you think that in 2017 the Dow will go to 5,000?
No, it starts. It will be there in 2021.
Wow. So near term, everything's fine. You don't think the market will crash. Longer term, big trouble.
Correct. I'm saying that already for years, end of 2017, and I remind people all the time so they will not forget that if you're not safe by the end of 2017, you can lose everything you have.
Oh, boy. So David Stockman said that he thought that the market would turn down before the election cycle of 2016, and you say, nope, we got a year after that.
No, it can turn down. It doesn't mean it's the big one. After that, it can turn up again.
Okay.
In my work, always comes down to the end of 2017.
All right, good. And then what about that's the financial markets. What about the economy? I mean, the economy just looks abysmal. I mean, we have...
it's going to be very bad. It's going to be very, very bad. my cycles show that from now on, unemployment should go up. You have the deflationary problem. The profits of the companies will be very bad because they did all their lenient, making the companies more lenient and taking away all the expenses. And the profits they had was because interest rates were low. Now, even if interest rates will stay low, they already got the push from the low interest rates. And we're just going to hang around, and then everything is going to turn down. Now, if there's going to be a war also, that's possible. It doesn't mean that's why it happens, but it would be very logical that it happens at the same time.
And you're saying the turn down could happen, can continue to go down to 2017 and then fall off a cliff. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
So it's so you could have some little spikes upward in this big downward slope, but overall we're downhill from here all the way to 2021.
I will tell you, our upside price target on the S&P starting when we bought in February 2009 was 2140 on the S&P. That's where we sold, and believe it or not, at the last low we bought back for the first time in 1.5 years. So we went long a little bit.
So you think there's going to be a bounce in the market?
Yeah. We already had a bounce. Short term, it doesn't look that good for a week and a half. But for the moment, we're staying long after being out of the market for 1.5 years. Now, what I don't like is the emerging markets. They will pick up because I think the dollar is almost ready to go in a bear market. I don't know how you will look at it, but you don't hear anybody about it. Next year is going to be the year of the euro, and the dollar is almost finished.
So the dollar's, explain that, the dollar's almost finished.
Well, it means that the dollar should go down for a couple of years.
And how far down do you think it will go on the USDX?
I did not calculate it. I just saw that amazing was that the euro really is going to be the currency next year.
Okay, and what about gold and silver? If the dollar goes down, does that mean gold and silver, feels like gold and silver are going to go back up?
Well, we started buying at 1080. There was 1090. There was the price target. We're up $100 from now. It's not going to really push ahead. It's very slowly. The big cycle lows that we're looking for again are in February, March next year. But it's coming.
And you think gold and silver will go up now and then come down in February and March of 2016?
I don't think that that's the lows. I don't think that that's the lows anymore. And then it will take off in the first quarter of next year.
Well, you said that you didn't see much downside the last time I talked to you a few months ago, and there really wasn't much downside. It was just what you said. What do you say to the people that say, "Oh, it's going to go to $300 an ounce or $600 an ounce or stuff like that"? Is that could that happen?
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you see my research. But remember, we gave a sell signal on crude oil 97. We set the downside target for 38. You remember that one?
I don't, but.
Okay, exactly was 38, and we bought. So at that moment, everybody said it's going to 20. It's always like that. People are emotionally involved. When it goes lower, they think it goes much lower. When it goes higher, they think it goes much higher. So if gold goes a little bit higher, you will not hear it anymore. You get the bullish stories. The thing is to buy when everybody thinks it's going the other way. Like Icahn bought some copper stocks, I know, and they ask him, does it go up now? He says, no, but he says, everybody hates the stock. And I always want to have a position of stocks that everybody hates. So as long as the thing is going to 300, you're safe.
Okay, I got that. And silver, do you like silver here? Would you buy it here?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I said, I think we talked about it a couple of months ago. Buy some gold stocks because you get a nice dividend. It's going up anyway. In the meantime, you get a nice dividend.
And overall, do you think that between now and the end of the year we have any kind of a big correction in the dollar or any kind of a correction in the stock market between now and the end of the year or any kind of big war breaking out?
No, I think it's going to quiet. We could have a New Year's rally, like they call it, into January. And I don't think too much action.
You think it's going to be pretty flat between now and the end of the year? For everything?
Yeah, but I think we probably have a year-end rally. That's why we stay long for the moment. Okay,
well, Charles Nenner, that's pretty upbeat and a little counter to some of the things that I've heard.
It changed, right?
Recently, but that's why I love having different people on. You're a renowned, internationally known analyst, and I really appreciate you coming on. You're in Amsterdam right now, correct?
Right.
Okay, and then you
Right.
also sell subscriptions and services and things like that, which I'll be linking to for you folks watching this on YouTube. Go to the usawatchdog.com and scroll down, and you'll see Mr. Nenner's links to his site, and it's a Charles Nenner Research Center. Charles Nenner, thanks for joining us today from Europe and giving us a good update on what's going on in the world.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon.